What's up? It's your boy Donovan, and today I'm going to show you how I animated my logo using Adobe After Effects and Illustrator. First, we're going to be starting out in Illustrator. So I did storyboard my concept for the animation before I even moved into Illustrator. That part is not very engaging in my opinion, but anyone who knows a little thing about animation knows you have to kind of sketch out your motion and how things are going to move along in your animation before you start designing it. I decided that I wanted to represent all of the media that I'm interested in and that I work with here on my channel and in my creative practice. I wanted to represent my digital art, my fine art, writing, photography, and sewing. Because I do so many things, it can get a little bit difficult to explain to people what I mean by a multidisciplinary artist. My goal with this animation was to make it visibly clear without having to give it much verbal explanation. Each one of the colors in my logo is going to be represented by one of those media. I started off with the laptop for my digital art and graphic design, and next we're moving on to a canvas on an easel. The third object is a sheet of paper with a pencil, and that can represent either drawing or writing. Both writing and drawing are very important to my creative skill set. Next we have a camera, and the final object is a spool of thread. Now that I've designed my icons for all of the disciplines, we're moving on into After Effects. I use some very simple transitions between my icons, my guiding objects, which are the plain colored rectangles, and the color slices that end up becoming a part of the final logo. Most of my transitions are all about matching the cuts between objects that are moving from one position to the next, or objects that are shrinking and growing in size for like this nice pop effect. Matching the cuts just means that the objects that look similar, so like my yellow rectangle with my sheet of paper, they will transition between one another seamlessly because the color and the movement will guide your eye to believing that the one transformed into the other. I am not an expert in After Effects by any means. I literally was looking up tutorials on how to do some of this stuff on YouTube, every step in the process. The most difficult part for me was transitioning from the little color slices into the actual final logo design. For anyone who understands keyframing, this would be super easy. I did play around with some of the preset animation effects, like the bounce that I added to that heart. In the end, I didn't keep with that preset effect just because I couldn't get it to the settings that made the most sense to me. Instead, I just went with the same technique that I've been using, which is keyframing the scale. But I'm really excited for how this is turning out. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Boy Donovan, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!